anyway. But while people were receiving these warnings on their text messages via the telephones or laptops, they were found to at least go to another source, a trusted source, for the information. Oh, there's a tornado warning coming out right now. I better go turn the TV on. Oh, wait a second. They found that people were going back to the old school, turn the television on, because they want the real voice. They want that person giving you the information. And 6% of the people polled said that when they got their information from the TV, that the weather people sounded different. There was something different about today's weather. And that human connection, being able to hear our voices and present what we think is going on, there's a change here. And people, the human mind, relates to that and knows that there's a heightened increase. We think that we're desensitizing by putting a lot of warnings out and talking about severe weather all the time and not having it happen. We know at least people were coming back to the television side. Oh, thank you. There's still jobs out there. But that is still, that's a huge impact. And I think with chasing and video and having that real-time data, that also helps it put it back into perspective too. You know, we're so worried in the TV business that everyone's leaving to go to the internet, but the bottom line is that as long as they still make couches, they're going to make TVs so you can sit on those couches and watch them, and that's really good. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about a little bit about the forecasting side of it. Chicago, cover your ears.
I'm not listening.
I'm a huge fan of the European computer forecasts, okay? The Euro models. What was that?
The secret's out.
The secret's out. You know, we've got so much data out there. Anybody know why our weather forecasts are never going to be that perfect? Anybody got an idea why? They're pretty darn good. I mean, let's face it. You can make fun of us all you want. You weather guys don't know what you're talking about. Years ago, we went out to NCEP, National Center for Environmental Prediction, where they run the supercomputer models. You know, they used to, years ago, they were Cray supercomputer models. They're IBM computer models, computers. Fastest on the planet. They run 1 trillion mathematical problems and their solutions per second. The onset of faster, more powerful computers have advanced our forecasting. So while you're looking at all this neat stuff on the internet, we're running computer models almost every hour on the hour that are going out 12 hours. Of course, some of the numbers I'll throw out, RUC model. Oh yeah, I heard of the RUC model. The rapid refresh is fairly new, and that's an exciting and nice tool. They've tweaked the medium range forecast model from the US, the GFS now. Funny story is years ago, the long range computer numbers that would come out, that were spit out, were called the perfect prog numbers. And that was our first real glimpse at maybe doing a 7-day high and low forecast that were based off of a computer. And the wonderful people at the, is anybody from the Weather Service here? The people of the government, the person who came up with the wonderful mathematical equation to make this perfect prog temperature forecast died. Nobody could figure out his notes and how he came up with this magical solution. So they pretty much threw it away. And we never saw the perfect prog numbers again, because we came out with another form of it, and that was the MRF, and the MRFX numbers, and so on and so forth. So now we have so much more computer power, we can have that many more different forecasts. In fact, on the TV side of things, our vendors, the people who provide us with the computers that we demonstrate the weather with every night, can run in-house computer numbers too. So the onset of having the faster processors have allowed us to get better and more accurate forecasts, and they are much more accurate. Again, going back to the 70s, I liken it. Now, your generation, you guys, what kind of video games you guys got?
Call of Duty. Call of Duty. Yep.
What is it?
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty? What's that? An Xbox?
Army and Xbox game.
I don't know,
Xbox, PS3.
PS3. You know, you got the fancy. Do you guys have the Xbox 9090422 coming out this Christmas? You guys got that? No, I gotta have that one. You know, to put it into perspective, in 1979, when I'd watched John Coleman and Tom Skilling and the guys in Chicago forecasting the weather, they were basically using Atari. What the heck is Atari? Pong. Anybody
That's a fun
remember
game.
those?
I'd supposed to play that.
You know, that's technology. What we had as a video game at your age was Pong, and it was like, oh my gosh, look at the squares that are bouncing the square ball back and forth. This is awesome.
Sad part is
Now you guys are in your Call of Duty, and you're walking around waving people on, going, special up, let's go. And do you remember the movie The Lawnmower Man? That was a Stephen, what was it? Yeah, the guy virtually reality. I believe that my intelligence has far surpassed yours, Doctor. The virtual reality stuff. We were forecasting with basically Atari back in the 70s. And now you guys are into the PlayStations, the Xbox. That's our technology right here in front of you in terms of meteorology. And of course, 10 years from now, when you are doing the better computer graphics that are out there, you're going to have stronger, our computers will be stronger and better too. Bottom line is that you've got so much information now served up to you to pour through that how do you know which one is right and which one is wrong? And I often say to stick with your gut, stay with the one that you've been trusted with, stay with the girl that brought you to the dance anyway, and not get so clouded up with so much different data and information, because there's a ton of it now. And our forecast will be better in the years to come. 70% of the planet is water. And that's the biggest wild card in terms of our forecast ability. You know, I feel sorry for the guys on the West Coast, especially out in Seattle, where you got these storms that are still out over the Pacific. And, you know, once they come on shore, we can bombard it with more information, have the balloon launches, get more sensors on these things, and get more information. But we're data deficient out in the water. So therefore, our forecasts are always going to be that realm of, oh man, how is this going to work out? You know, the other part of it too is that, you know, when we talk about snowstorms or severe weather outbreaks, you know, we can broad brush the area and say this is going to be bad, and if you don't have it, then you look like you're the idiot. Oh, you guys, you're wrong. You missed it again. Whereas 60 miles north, which in the world of meteorology isn't all that far, they get lambasted with snow in Lafayette, and they're like, wow, you guys were right on it. And then that 32 degrees line that moves north of the city that was supposed to be all ice is rain, and the people who canceled all their deliveries for Valentine's Day are calling the station complaining to you. I wasn't the guy who issued the severe ice warning. I'll talk to the National Weather Service about it. Right. Anyway, so we feel that in the years to come, the forecasting is getting better, and you guys have access to a lot of this information too. But to sort it all out, boy, if there's any word of advice, if there's one computer forecast model that you've trusted, stay with it. You can get clouded up with so many different pieces of information and thrown at you that, you know, by the end of the day, your head is scratching. What in the world is going on? From a severe weather standpoint, where are we headed this season? I think most of you have heard that La Nina is back. You know, going into last spring, we recall that we thought it would be bad. No one had any idea it would be as terrific as it was this year, and I say that in the standpoint, wow, what a mess that severe weather season was. To have as many fatalities, to have as many tornadoes too. Are we on our way to that same setup? Well, the only thing we do know is that no two winters are, and we discussed that at the Weather Service the other day, and I thought that was a real good perspective on it. I could stand up here and tell you all day long that La Nina is back. We've looked at some of the cold weather indices, indicators in the next couple of weeks. They suggest a huge pattern shift by the middle of the month. From about the 15th of November on, there are bigger and stronger jabs of colder air coming. We're going to look at the GFS here over the next couple of weeks and see how it plays. You know, it's been several runs too that it's picked up on a big blast of cold air. A jab of cold air comes down late in the week. So those are pretty good earmarks or significant signs that, yeah, it looks like it's probably going. It depends really how strong this La Nina will be. Will it be a moderate? Will it be a strong? Right now they're saying probably weak to moderate. The likelihood of having another big severe weather outbreak next year is probably good. I'm fearful that I think we're going to have severe weather at weird times of the year. You know, January and February this year. I think it was last New Year's Eve that there were tornado warnings out in Illinois.
St. Louis tornado.
Yeah, that was around New Year's Eve, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was New Year's Eve.
And who knew that in January that was kind of the precursor of the spring that was still to come? Because then we had a huge lapse and it was cold again and snowy. But I really think that that's probably going to be in play again this year, is that we'll have some strange severe weather outbreaks. And if you look at the long-range charts, and JT, you want to just run the loop? There looked like there would be 4 major storm systems spin up over the next 2.5 weeks. The GFS, which runs out 2.5 weeks or so, does a pretty good job. It is neat to see this display. And
Look at that.
word of advice, I know you guys have, most of you have probably looked at this.
Wow.
Stay away
Look
from
at
the 18Z run and 06Z runs, those mid ones. They are, I'll tell you what, you'll see one and go, holy cow, that looks awesome, and then it's just gone the next runs.
Ohio make it.
You know, we're picking up, you know, it's been fairly
It's 500 millivolts.
fluctuating back and forth here. We've had 70-degree days, a little jab, but we haven't had really school down. We have yet to have really a hard freeze here in Indianapolis,
Looking at it.
which is beyond the normal date. We should have had at least a sub 28-degree night already this season. As you go out 360 hours, you see that we're getting a lot of energy here, but we've seen some pretty good spin-ups here. One coming through the area.
Right there.
This is out through the weekend. It turns as windy tomorrow. A system that one on Wednesday has some interest to it. You know, there have been talk that maybe this would bring some storms. There's a possibility that there would be maybe severe weather with this thing down across Arkansas or Missouri. We'll see. But to think that we've got several waves of this is similar to last year when we had
138 hours.
the northern branch of the jet stream and the subtropical jet stream kept merging right in the southeastern U.S. So we picked up our share of pretty good snows, and of course the big storms that went up the eastern seaboard. And to have the type of storm show up on the eastern seaboard last week, already this early, it's like, okay, I mean, you need to get slapped in the face. This is your pattern. This is where we're going, we think, for now. So there you go. We've got tons of energy starting to develop here, and there's actually signs that on the, you want to pull up the North Atlantic Oscillation too? The Greenland block seems to be taking shape too by mid-month. So is there a correlation? I suppose. Go ahead and scroll down to the run here. It certainly looks like it's going negative in a big way around the 16th of the month, and it will probably correlate with a big batch of colder air. See, I know it's all television and looks and all that other fancy stuff, but I really do enjoy the actual forecasting side of it. That's the real fun part about it. And I look forward to, this is my severe weather season, that I like forecasting snow, and I think I probably enjoy that more than anything. So while you guys enjoy the severe part of it, I enjoy the whole overall forecast part of it. But I tell you, I don't think I really want to get into the severe part of it anymore. I don't want to go on a chase anytime soon. Come on, he's been, you know how long I've known him, this fellow here? But, you know, bottom line is that we all have a big passion about this, and maybe we lose perspective sometimes, but I want you guys to be safe, number one, and number two, this is a lot of neat stuff to look at. But bottom line is that in the days to come, years to come, we will, on the TV side of it, depend on you as part of getting that message out. And the desensitization, people are desensitive. What's the word I'm looking for?
Desensitized.
Thank you. 2 sinkers and a cup of coffee, that's all I had. I quit smoking about 7 months ago. Usually I'm right on my game. We think that will be important to us in the years to come, is that your eyes are out there. We've always known that observations on the field, these are the best weather tools that we have, are you guys watching this stuff. So in the years to come, yes, that's going to be a big role and very important to us. I'll take some questions. I kind of get, I'm long-winded. I talk a lot about it. That's an old weatherman joke. You guys can use that. But yeah, anybody got any questions? I'm just kind of rattling along up
If
here.
you wanted to get a job in meteorology, like what are jobs out there that are for storm chasers or something along those lines? I know there's not like an exact job for storm chasing, but
Well, I mean, if you're going to get into that part of it, you'd latch on with the universities, you know, the research teams that go out. If you wanted to be a pure storm chaser.